Coming up next on KPBS Evening Edition. Trouble breaks out at Occupy San Diego today as police get into a scuffle with protesters.
One man got arrested. We'll have the latest from the scene. KPBS Evening Edition starts now.
Hello, thanks for joining us. I'm Joanne Faryon.
And I'm Amitha Sharma in for Dwayne Brown. The Justice Department is already cracking down on medical marijuana dispensaries, but will it go after newspapers for advertising them?
And there's been a lot of reaction to the Twitter battle between San Diego Republicans and Democrats. We'll have that in just a few moments. But first, tonight's top stories. Trouble today at the Occupy San Diego protest. One person was arrested as police tried to enforce an order to remove the tent city at the Civic Center Plaza downtown. Scuffles also broke out between police and protesters earlier in the day. We'll show you that in a moment. First, KPBS staffer Nico Smedley has been with the protesters most of the day and joins us now on the phone. Nico, tell us where you are.
Well, I'm now in the Civic Center Plaza, standing near a group of about, I'd say, 100 protesters or so, and there's a very strong San Diego Police Department presence nearby as well.
And have all the tents been removed?
No, I got here a little before noon, and right about noon there was a confrontation between the protesters and the police. The police came in and took away all but one last tent, but the protesters seem to have made that last tent sort of a rallying spot, so they stayed around and they're gathered around that last tent, and that's where they're holding their ground. And
so police haven't moved forward in terms of trying to remove that last tent?
No, I think at this point the police are satisfied enough that enough of the structures have been taken away that they're just going to let the protesters continue protesting at this point.
There was some confusion throughout the day, wasn't there, in terms of where these protesters were going to land? Tell us what happened.
Right. Well, so I actually just a little while ago was over at the USS Midway where another group of protesters were. They were meeting to discuss what should happen next. And that kind of seems to be the general theme. No one's sure what should happen next. The group is sort of splintered into a number of different groups. But each different group is very motivated, and it looks like this is probably going to continue for a while. It's just they're not exactly sure what their home base is at this point.
Okay. KPBS reporter Nico Smedley.
This morning, one man was arrested for obstructing a police officer as he tried to get the protesters to finish clearing the Civic Center Plaza. Then, just before noon, more trouble broke out.
Peace! We protest in peace! We don't need police! We protest in peace!
Protesters and police push against each other in a tug-of-war over a tent. After a few minutes, the scuffle starts and police break out their pepper spray. Police had warned protesters yesterday that the tent city had to come down to make room for events scheduled in the plaza this weekend. Many of the protesters did clear out before the midnight deadline, but by 7 this morning, a few of them remained, despite efforts by negotiators to get them to move.
We have, for the most part, been very tolerant of the illegal lodging, very tolerant of the placement of property on city property. At this point, we will not allow them to be illegally lodging. We will not allow them to place personal property on city property.
Since when is it honorable to choke a defenseless woman?
Long says Occupy San Diego can stay in the Civic Center, but not with their tents and other equipment. The protesters say they will stay.
We the people are here for peaceful, non-violent, direct action.
We're just trying to get the message out and reform our system, fix a broken system which no one can work with.
The protest has been underway for a week. A dance event is scheduled at the concourse this weekend with 2,000 people expected to attend.
San Diego's medical marijuana industry is in upheaval after the federal government announced it's going to start cracking down on dispensaries. Now, newspapers and broadcasters who run ads for medical marijuana are nervous too. KPBS Metro reporter Katie Orr spoke with U.S. Attorney Laura Duffy about whether the government will also crack down on medical marijuana advertisements. Now, Katie, what did the U.S. Attorney say about these ads?
Joanne, she told me that the priority remains on closing down dispensaries in California. She first made her comments about looking at advertisements to a reporter after last week's initial news conference on the crackdown. But again, she says her words since then have taken on a life of their own. She says the focus is on closing down dispensaries, though she says the federal government is paying attention to these ads.
While advertisers, those folks placing ads and running ads, are not the primary focus of our current enforcement activities. We are concerned about the nature and the extent of the advertisements that we're seeing.
She says that if the current actions do not work, they might focus more on newspapers and other media that run these ads.
Katie, why is the federal government doing this now, and does it have anything to do with San Diego's recent enforcement action?
Well, the timing of the federal government's action was questioned since it followed San Diego's action very closely. San Diego had sent out letters to 12 dispensaries telling them that they needed to shut down. Laura Duffy says that action did not spur the federal enforcement, but she says she does coordinate with local law enforcement to ID what she calls dispensaries that might, be problematic, she says. And so there was some coordination on that level, but she says again that the federal action has been coming for a while and that San Diego's action didn't spur it.
KPBS reporter Katie Orr.
Radioactive sulfur released during last spring's earthquake in Japan is being measured here in San Diego. Researchers at UC San Diego say there's no immediate threat to us. They're using their findings to track how pollutants are spread across the globe.
Earlier this week, we told you about a fire safety expo the San Miguel Fire District planned to hold tomorrow. Tonight, we've learned that it's been canceled. The fire district says it's because of a labor dispute. We did ask the Firefighters Union for a comment, but so far we have not had a response.
Blue Shield customers will be getting a break on their December insurance premiums. The company says it's spending less on medical claims because people are cutting back on health care. Blue Shield says it's keeping a promise to pass savings on to customers. The average credit for a family of 4 is expected to be $420. The head of the San Diego Unified School District made a dire forecast this week about the district's financial prospects. And San Diego's political circles have been a Twitter over Twitter. That's what Joanne and her guests are talking about over in the roundtable tonight.
Tonight on the roundtable, troubled financial times at San Diego's largest school district. Are they really on the brink of insolvency or just another case of crying wolf? And Twitter flap, Twittergate, whatever you want to call it, the fallout from a San Diego Republican leader posing as a Democrat on Twitter. Joining me for tonight's discussion are KPBS reporter Kyla Calvert and Scott Lewis, CEO of voiceofsandiego.org. Thank you both for being here.
Thanks
for having us. Let's start with education. Now, Kyla, what happened this week that has board officials saying they are about to declare insolvency?
The district superintendent, Bill Koba, gave a presentation to the Board of Education this week about what the district would have to do if state targets for revenues aren't met in December, and the district would lose $30 million. And so he's said that what the district would do is spend its remaining reserves, sell some property, and then also lay off about 60 full-time equivalent employees. And the thing that really sort of seemed to shake the Board of Education members was that if they spend their reserves in January, that leaves an even bigger hole for them to fill for the 2012-13 school year. And Koba was telling them that they're facing the real possibility of insolvency, of not being able to balance their books.
Now, this is a mid-year unexpected, well, I'm going to say unexpected cut, but is it really, Scott, an unexpected cut in terms of they've already set their budget? revenues are down for the state. These automatic cuts now go in for education. Is it something they really should have planned for to begin with?
Well, not only planned for, but they also set things in motion that have caused, self-inflicted wounds. They're going to be entering the third year of a teacher contract that'll actually have a series of raises, 3 raises over about a year, and that'll be going into effect here soon. And so it's going to be this awkward juxtaposition of teachers remaining in the district getting raises and potentially hundreds facing another round of layoff roulette. We watched hundreds get laid off last year. For the last budget cycle, and I think that caused a lot of distress. But at the same time, we're watching this awful spiral downward as the district continues to crumble, its ability to recover or to build a recovery is hampered because, as Kyla did a great story not long ago, teachers in Scripps Ranch or parents are being asked for donations to protect teacher jobs. Same thing's happening in Bird Rock and Grant Elementary and Mission Hills. These schools are making up the difference by their wealthy donations. But do you think those people will ever be willing to pay higher taxes to save the central district? No. And so the potential for recovery is being hit. The unions are intransigent and unwilling to open these discussions, and ultimately the teachers and the schools in poorer areas are going to suffer the most.
So what would it mean then if you declare insolvency, the state takes over? What does that mean? Well,
some people have accused the board members of sort of using the state takeover as this guillotine, over the heads of constituents in the district. This sort of, well, if you don't like the things that we're doing to balance the budget, they're talking about closing up to 10 schools. They're talking about selling property. They're talking about maybe having to raise class sizes a bit. Just wait and see what the state would do if they came in to balance our budget, because the state has a lot more leeway. They don't really have to answer to voters or parents or any other stakeholders. They can come in and do whatever it takes to balance the budget.
And you remember months ago when they were going through this last budget process, during the school board meetings, Richard Barrera, the president, a very good friend to labor and the teachers, and he was saying, look, I don't, they were blasting him. How dare you lay off teachers? What kind of animal are you with the lay off teachers? And he was saying, look, I don't have a choice. If I don't do this, the state's going to come take over, and what are you going to do then? And I think it was lost on me the significance of those words. Like, to say basically you're going to be insolvent is to basically tell not only the teachers and the people who work at the district that you might not be able to pay their salaries, but you're also all the Wall Street firms that have lent money to the school district right now, are they in danger of not being paid back? And what kind of a massive ripple effect would that have on the entire economy if a district is literally not able to pay the bonds off that it's borrowed?
We're going to move on to our second big story. Definitely this is one we're going to be following all next week. But the political blogosphere was in a flap yesterday talking about a social media stunt orchestrated by Tony Calvert. Calvert is the chair of the San Diego Republican Party. He created 6 Twitter accounts in the names of local Democrats. Now, Scott, I know you were following this story very carefully, but tell people at home, why should we care about a social media site in the first place?
Well, Twitter has become a very interesting vehicle where sources, politicians, business leaders, journalists are in many ways communicating directly with the constituents that they're trying to reach. So your think tank people, left wing, right wing, labor, all of them are using this medium to send messages directly to a constituency that they want to communicate with. And what's interesting about that is it's leaving out the media. It's in many ways going around the media, and it's provoked a very powerful and interesting conversation, a culture, if you will, in San Diego of media accountability, journalists like me being held accountable for the stuff we write, of politicians having their own press conferences without the press where they're taking questions from the constituents.
So who did Tony pretend to be on
So
Twitter?
Tony, you have to picture who he is. He's a very, he's been a gamer, a tech-savvy person for all his life, and he saw this as a chess game, and he said, well, look, Marty Emerald, the city councilwoman, Democrat, hasn't reserved her full name on Twitter. I'm going to take it, and that'll be like a great move, like in Risk or in Monopoly, where you just take over territory. And he saw it as a game, and that he was taking a battle, and he won. And and it was kind of a big deal. And what Twitter does, though, is it allows parody accounts. So you can make fun of things, satire.
Right. We have one, KPBS Loves Itself. Someone started Voice Loves Itself.
Yeah,
those kind of accounts.
And Mayor Emanuel, which was a mocking or satirizing Rahm Emanuel in Chicago, became a hit. It was a gigantic literary achievement in many ways. So it was protected. But the difference is you can't imitate somebody and pretend that you're them.
And do you think that this is a sign that the Democratic Party in San Diego is going to take this platform a little more seriously than they have in the past? Or?
I would hope so, because they've been really behind the Republicans in embracing these tools as ways to, maybe if they even dismiss it as a way to reach constituents, it's still a way to reach mavens, journalists, again, hold journalists accountable, hold office holders accountable and whatnot. And so I think they are finally being kicked to participate, and we'll see what happens.
I want to read just a couple comments from some people who wrote in on this story on our website, because it might have been a stunt, but we asked the question whether or not it crossed some ethical line. And so here's one, Kay Verna, that says the fake Twitter impersonations represent the worst type of underhanded politicking. We already get more false accusations, bias, and untruths than we can possibly filter. This must be stopped now. Is there no integrity left anywhere? And quickly again, P. King Duck from San Diego says engaging in these actions, and then instead of apologizing after being caught red-handed, he has the nerve to say it's the Democrats' fault for not expecting it. Do you think he crossed some line and the Republicans or even Tony Calvert himself are going to be in some trouble over this?
Absolutely, and he has paid an incredible price. If I lost my Twitter account, I'd be devastated. My wife would have to bring me soup in my bed. I'd be like crying, and it's gone. And he lost his account. He had to rebuild this following that he built over time, and he was punished. And it is a big deal. And on the other hand, he did make an interesting point. These Democrats should have reserved their territory.
We're going to have to leave it there. Thank you both so much for being here.
Thank you.
Coming up on Evening Edition, a look at economic hard times through the eyes of a struggling college student. The story from the Media Arts Center's Teen Producers Project. And work is play for an engineer turned artist in La Jolla. He says it's playing with a purpose. We'll meet him and get a look at his work in just a moment. This is KPBS Evening Edition.
Tonight on KPBS. At 8, Washington Week, PBS's longest-running public affairs series, featuring Washington's top journalists analyzing the week's news stories. Then at 8:30, broadcast media and the web unite in an innovative approach to news gathering and reporting on Need to Know. And at 9, it's the first of 9 new PBS Arts Festivals with a new production of Gilbert and Sullivan's HMS Pinafore. That's tonight on KPBS. Tuesday at 10 on KPBS. KPBS Evening Edition is made possible by Joan and Erwin Jacobs and by
people, work is a stressful environment, but that's not the case for John Perlia.
KPBS arts reporter Beth Accomando didn't so much set up an interview with the La Jolla artist, but rather a play date with his home studio.
Welcome to the fantastic plastic world.
years ago, John Perlia left his job as a software engineer at Qualcomm to play with his toys.
It's just fun. I mean, when I'm out in my studio, I'm essentially playing.
But playing with a purpose.
I just sort of start playing in my studio and building a scene, and eventually it just starts to come together, and I would call it storytelling using a single picture.
Perlia got his first camera 8 years ago. Some might call what he creates kitsch art, or perhaps pop surrealism.
The starting point for this was definitely the book in the center.
He calls it a strange and weird form of narrative photography, employing toys against a backdrop of vintage records and books.
So I set up these objects in a way that kind of combines innocence with a little bit of edginess, I guess, to them, so that you've got a juxtaposition of kind of cute and cuddly, but then if you look at it more closely, then you're kind of like, oh, this story is about something completely different. It's kind of what you try and do in a pop song, where you try and make the beat really poppy and fun, but the lyrics are a little bit more serious.
So in this photo, your eye may initially be drawn to the cute Kewpie dolls, but then you'll be playfully led to more serious ideas by Perlia's subtle details and the clever title, Financial Freewheeling and the Futile Pursuit of the American Dream.
Probably my all-time favorite is, unbeknownst to her creator, Eve longed to become a cheerleader. The titles sometimes take longer than actually setting up and photographing the images.
The titles, along with the juxtaposition of certain images and objects, create an ironic tone that Perlia hopes will get people thinking about things like the economy, politics, and religion, but always in a playful way that rarely offends.
The toy is making some sort of statement on nuclear power or on religion, but the toy is still a toy, and its expression doesn't change, and it smiles at you, and it's not threatening. And I think by doing that, maybe it makes people a little bit more receptive to the messages that I'm telling through the art.
And that's why Perlia is so in love with Kewpie dolls.
Kewpies they're just kind of fun because they look really innocent, but they're kind of creepy too. Like they might do something really bad and they don't care because they're happy.
Perlia has 3 Kewpie dolls that he depends on: a devilish red one, an innocent pink one, and a green one.
The green one is almost always, in some ways, looking back directly at the person viewing the photograph. So the green Kewpie doll is kind of begging some sort of an observant reaction from the viewer. And that's kind of the way that I look at this. I create this little world, and then there are almost dueling factions and sensibilities. And I'm still leaving a lot up to interpretation when you look at the photos, but there's definitely a intent in setting up the scene and then letting people decide for themselves what the outcome is or should be.
Perlia has collected his work in what he calls a digital coffee table book available through iTunes. But currently, he's working on a special boxed edition of a miniature version of his book that will come with a Kewpie doll.
And I think it's going to be a fun little addition as a keepsake for people who want something physical in this world that is quickly moving into a digital realm. Physical objects are still fun and desired by people.
And they're still fun to play with.
I think a rabbit kind of coming out of from underneath the Illustrated Encyclopedia of Sex sort of makes sense.
That was KPBS arts reporter Beth Accomando.
John Perlia's special edition book will be out later this month at his website, johnperlia.com. Up next in our public square, one college student's take on tough economic times.
This is KPBS Evening Edition.
I'm Judy Woodruff. On the next News Hour, Ohio wrestles with new limits on labor's bargaining rights. Plus, Mark Shields and David Brooks. That's Friday on the PBS News Hour.
On Masterpiece Mystery.
My name's Jackson Brody. I'm a private investigator.
He's very good at finding people.
Really?
Don't you need a warrant for that? A good idea. You're a cop. Luckily, I'm not anymore.
My daughter was murdered, Mr. Brody. A man walked in off the street and slaughtered her in broad daylight.
Who's that? Her name's Laura.
I think fate brought you to us, Mr. Brody.
I don't believe in fate.
I think you do.
Not really.
On Masterpiece Mystery.
Watch a new Masterpiece Mystery, Sunday at 9 on KPBS.
In the last year, KPBS News has been honored with nearly 36 awards. I'm extremely proud of these honors, and I thank you for your support as we continue to serve our local communities with award-winning news coverage in the years to come.
Welcome back to the Public Square on KPBS Evening Edition. For the last few weeks, we've brought you stories about how the economy is affecting people here in San Diego. Tonight, our partners from the Media Arts Center of San Diego's Teen Producers Project have a story about a San Diego college student, Alvaro Alvarez, who's struggling to stay in school amidst tuition increases and tough economic times.
Due to the economic downturn, students are finding it difficult to stay in school.
Before the recession started, actually college was a lot cheaper. I remember my first semester was $1,500 tops, and right now it's almost $3,000 something. I want to do film, and film is a very competitive career, but that's what I want to do. That's my passion.
It's important for Alvaro to stay in school, not only to establish a career, but also to provide for his family.
My parents were the main reason why I'm going to college. I mean, we've been poor most of my life, so I want to just give them back whatever they have given me.
That was a video from the Teen Producers Project. Do you have a story to tell or video? Send us your YouTube link or contact us on Twitter, on Facebook, and of course you can always email us. That's news@kpbs.org.
Recapping tonight's top stories, trouble broke out at Occupy San Diego today. One person was arrested this morning on a charge of obstructing police, and half a dozen protesters got pepper sprayed just before noon. Police had ordered the protesters to take down their tent city in the Civic Center Plaza. And will the new federal crackdown on medical marijuana collectors include advertising? Some media outlets have been worried about a comment made by U.S. Attorney Laura Duffy saying agents would crack down on newspapers and other media. But Duffy says the ads are not a primary focus. And next week on Midday Edition, we take an in-depth look at Down syndrome. We'll talk to local parents, discover resources available, found out why advocacy is so important, and look at clinical trials underway right here in San Diego.
You can watch and comment on any of the stories you saw tonight on our website, kpbs.org/evening edition.
Thank you for joining us. Have a great weekend. We leave you with a look at the forecast.
Good night.
Thank you.